Why are so many women in their 40s divorced or thinking about divorce? Imagine this. She's been running the household, managing the kids' schedules, excelling at her career, and still picking up her husband's slack. And now she's wondering, what's the point of this partnership if I'm doing it all by myself? Here's what happens. High achieving women hit a breaking point. They're exhausted. They've tried motivating their husbands. Can you please help me with the kids? Or can you take on more at home? But nothing changes. And resentment? Oh, it grows like wildfire. She starts thinking, I'm already the breadwinner. I'm already handling everything. What am I getting out of this marriage? And that realization is like a tidal wave crashing into everything she thought she wanted. It's not impossible to save the marriage. It's just incredibly difficult when one partner refuses to grow. And the longer she waits, the more she feels like she's losing herself. So if you're feeling this way, ask yourself, are you sacrificing yourself to keep the peace, or are you ready to reclaim your life? Because staying isn't the default answer. Choosing you, that's where the power lies.
Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed. So here we have a high-earning woman, another high-earning woman who sounds like she divorced her husband based on the fact that she was tired of taking care of him. And this right here is another perfect example of why men aren't attracted to chicks who are high-earning. This is also another example of why there's an argument to be made that women who are usually in high-earning positions don't typically make good wives. Why? Because they can't just take on that responsibility of running the household, like she said, being the wife, and also paying all the bills. But you want to say that you can do everything a man can do until it's time to do everything a man can do. But I get it. You don't drink coffee. Imagine if the men who've run the world for ages complained about the responsibility that they had to endure to run the world. Can you make some of these women happy? And before you jump to conclusions and say, there's no such thing as a happy relationship or marriage, don't get ridiculous. Don't sound like these chicks. They unfortunately make up the majority of the mindset that a lot of high-earning chicks have today. Here's another video that I thought was interesting is you have this woman here celebrating her man working hard, but she points out something really interesting about the men who work hard, and they are the opposite of what that last chick was complaining about. Check it out.
Everybody wants a hardworking man until you marry the hardworking man and you barely get to see him because he's always working. And don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful that he's hardworking. I appreciate him so much. He just bought us a new car. He pays for our luxury gym membership and pretty much everything else. But it's hard when you don't really get to see him because he's always working. That is the reality of marrying a hard-working man. In case nobody else told you, I'm going to be the one to tell you.
So here you have a wife who's saying, hey, I'm really grateful for my husband who works really hard to provide for me and my family. And in the comment section, here's a guy who they all want, right? What did she say? Luxury memberships to a gym. The comment I see below her video reads, quality time is more important than material. There are just some chicks out here that you just can't please. You can't. And an easy way to tell, amongst other things, of course, like shared values, etc. But an easy way to tell a woman who's very difficult to please is ask her to define what she believes a happy marriage is, right? You know, we don't use happy very often here, but just for example's sake, ask her to define that. What does that look like for you? And if she mentions a bunch of things that mostly have to do with herself, how I'm feeling, that my needs are getting met, that the person I'm with is being emotionally intelligent, if it's all about me, instead of like how the kids are doing, right? Role models for the parents, what you want to leave for those kids, for the future generation, right? Mutual respect, things that will benefit the two of you within that marriage, right? Some type of faith in God or whatever she believes in, something other than herself. Because a lot of these chicks begin and end the definition of what constitutes as a happy marriage based on themselves, instead of looking at, okay, what's a satisfying marriage? What brings you joy? So on and so forth. And they'll be crying and begging for these marriages with these men to divorce, but crying and crying on camera like this.
I am currently really struggling to understand the universe's plan for me. I don't get it. It's like I have so many wonderful things that I can share with somebody else. And it seems like whenever I even get the tiniest glimpse of hope, just the tiniest, it immediately disappears. Like, oh, I went on a second date with somebody else and connected with them, and I want to try to pursue that. You were great, though. You were great. But I was just second in line, I guess. And every time I say, that's okay, because what's meant for me will find me.
Listen, chick will cry like this for a relationship and marriage and be the first one to leave. And leave because, I'm not happy, right? Snot and tears on camera, begging for it. Where is this going? I'm ready. I'm ready to be a wife. Could she be? What do you think? Comment down below.
I truly believe that. But it's really hard to continue to stay hopeful and positive when just nothing works out. Like nothing. And I'm not going to settle. I don't want to lower my standards or accept less than I deserve because I would rather be alone. But my God, it's so draining. Dating is draining. And I just can't keep doing it. So at what point do you just accept being single forever? I don't know.
Accepting being single forever is something that's becoming more acceptable amongst women. I do think that a part of this too has to do with a point that I just saw recently that was talked about, how modern women are convinced to believe that if they're defined as anything outside of perfect, then you're being misogynistic. And then you have the platforms out here who they don't like the coffee pod. They don't like any other platforms who hopefully are addressing these conversations with honest intention, right? Of them truly wanting to express themselves. They don't like this. Why? Because they are uncomfortable with the truth.
We raise boys to control their natures, but we don't raise girls to control their natures. Boys are told, you got to control your sexual nature, you got to control your aggression. What do we tell girls to control?
Right. Nothing.
Nothing. But they have to control their emotions. And whenever I have said that, the left wing on the internet goes crazy that this is misogyny. Oh, we have to control our emotions. Well, first of all, everybody has to control their emotions. But the notion that women are not born perfect,
Right.
is insulting to them.
Last but not least, we have a married woman. She's a wife here with this video captioned, "You're not ready for marriage." Check it out.
You're not ready for marriage if you have already adopted and believe the concept that you don't want to have to raise a man. Number one, that belief already insinuates that you think that you are all of what you need to be for marriage, that there is at any parts of you where any man is going to have to work on you and help you to become a better woman. Secondly, marriage is not a band-aid to everyone's problems. I don't know why people think that you get into a marriage and now there can't be any trials, there can't be any tribulations, and everything has to be perfect. If anything, marriage just exacerbates the problems that we already face outside of that label. Please understand, in marriage, there will be times as a woman where you're going to have to help your husband in areas where he's lacking. You're going to have to plan some dates first. You're going to have to initiate intimacy first. Marriage is not just for women, okay? Yes, it's okay to also take care of your husband. It's okay to wine and dine him. It's okay to initiate those dates. It doesn't matter who does it. Now, as a woman, I've been there before where it's like, yes, you want your man to plan dates. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, you look at the bigger picture, knowing how short life is, who cares who plans the date? Let's just plan the date. Let's just go hang out. Let's just spend time together. And if you're a woman of God and you entered into your covenant before God and you believe in Christ,
You have to know that God is watching the way that you take care of his son. He's absolutely watching the way that you handle him, the way that you talk to him, the way that you pray for him. So please, ladies, we have to be rid of that whole, I don't want to have to raise a man thing because you're not perfect. That man is not going to be perfect. As a wife, you are also a helpmeet. That means you're going to be helping that man in areas where he's struggling, where only you can help him. There's going to be areas where you are struggling and he needs to help you. Because the truth is, most of us are willing to help other people in our lives, right? Our cousins, maybe irresponsible adults, grown people, friends that are irresponsible. We're willing to be there for them and help them and support them and speak life into them. So why is it that you're not willing to do that for your husband?
Whoa, that's a good point. When it comes to your friends, when it comes to those people outside of your husband, you're willing to help them, but not your husband.
So if you're not ready to plan some dates or initiate intimacy or help that man in areas, maybe he's financially, not responsible. Maybe he emotionally has some trouble. If you're not ready, don't even enter into marriage.
Okay, of course, guys, I'm curious to know, what do you think of this conversation? Comment down below. Listen, fathershaverights.com. To my men out there who are soon to be married, engaged, head over to fathershaverights.com and get free legal information on prenuptial agreements and learn how to legally prepare for marriage. Consider joining Brew Brothers for my guys who are fathers and value marriage in our modern day. Listen, I appreciate you as always for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.